Hello, and thank you for having you. I'm at a loss and I don't know what to do to make it easier for me at least a little. That's why I want to share with you and seek advice, and on the other hand, offer a perspective for people who are on the other side of the scale. I'm a 35, almost 36-year-old woman, and I realize that I have a drinking problem, mainly beer and rarely wine. I drink alone at home. That's how I relax. In recent years, my norm has increased. I can drink 2 liters of beer a day without a problem. I don't drink hard alcohol. 2 liters of beer, in the minds of many people, is not a lot, but considering that I can do it every day, it's a lot. And I know. But, by coincidence, I currently live with my mother. We have both lived abroad for 12+ years, and we are each other's support. I work a lot of hours a week, and you could say that I've lost track of the right routine. I was also brutally betrayed by a partner and a girlfriend in the recent past. I'm such a person that my brain always overheats from overthinking and analyzing that I often can't fall asleep unless I drink at least 2 beers. Until 6 months ago, I also smoked weed, which helped me sleep a lot, but I stopped smoking. I want and know that this habit can change, but gradually. On the other hand, my mother constantly nags me when I open a beer. She makes comments about how bad I look, and I'm also terribly tired from the rhythm of life and work. I don't want to complain about this. I'm happy that I have a good job and make good money, but the fact that she constantly brings up the topic of drinking in every free second, even when I don't drink, and constantly sends me videos about alcoholics, etc., additionally drains my energy and pushes my motivation. I want to deal with my problem on my own, and for it to take exactly as much time as I really need. I don't want her to wake up at 3 a.m. and jump up furiously to check me if I'm not drinking, and start yelling at me, given that I work the night shift and I don't bother anyone in any way by opening a beer after work and drinking it quietly and peacefully, without doing any injustice. I know that the woman is worried about me, but this mothering comes to me too much, and often pushes me rather than lifts me up. There are cases when I haven't been drinking for a month, and she, in case she knows I haven't been drinking, still doesn't stop talking about alcohol, how obvious it is that I haven't been drinking, how much better I look since, and all the things that are connected and tied to the stupid problem with drinking. Even every success I have at work, or any other achievement I have, is always bravo, and can you imagine how much further you would have been if, and again, the beers, well, I imagine. But sometimes the very snoring and lurking in the middle of the night makes me want to open another one, at least. Oftentimes these people who don't want you to drink make you want to drink, because too much frickin' drama. Here my question is, how can I help myself deal with this, and is there any chance that other people can deal with letting go of the problem? I think, very often, people who live with people prone to addictions push them towards addiction more and more. I know that for many people this will sound like I'm playing the victim, but that's not my intention. How can we help people who live with alcoholics or potential ones to sleep more peacefully and not add fuel to the fire? Thank you.
First, I just want to say thank you for the incredible courage and honesty it took to share that. What you just heard, it isn't a story of personal failure or weakness, not at all. It's a very real and very understandable human dynamic. This is more than just one person's story. It's the story of a cycle that so many people get trapped in. So today, we're going to break down the mechanics of this cycle to really understand it and to find a way through.
Okay, so the very first thing we need to do is kind of shift our perspective. At its core, the issue here isn't really the beer itself. It's about what the beer does. You see, it's serving a purpose. And understanding that purpose, well, that's the key to everything. It's how we can start to find a healthier replacement.
What we're really looking at here is a form of functional dependency. I know that might sound like a big, clinical term, but all it really means is that a substance has stopped being a simple choice and has become a necessary tool. It's a tool for managing tension, a tool for getting to sleep, a tool for just coping with the overwhelming demands of life. It's a solution, yeah, a temporary and damaging one for sure, but it's a solution to a very real problem.
So what is that real problem? What function is the alcohol actually serving here? Well, just like the original post described, it's a nervous system regulator when everything else feels completely chaotic. It becomes a non-negotiable prerequisite for sleep when your mind just refuses to quiet down, and maybe most importantly, it's an off switch for a brain that feels like it's constantly overheating from stress, from overthinking, from pure exhaustion. You see, this person isn't drinking because they just love beer. They're drinking because they desperately need to turn the noise down.
All right, now let's switch gears and talk about the second part of this cycle, the role of the loved one. This is where we run into a really painful paradox, because often the very actions people take to try and help can end up making the whole situation worse. The attempts to control the problem can actually, without anyone meaning to, become the fuel that keeps it going.
And here's exactly how that paradox plays out. You've got these actions that are born from love and, a deep sense of fear. The constant monitoring, the shaming comments like, you look so bad, even the praise that's always conditional on not drinking. The intention is to help, but the actual result? It's the complete opposite. The monitoring just creates more anxiety, which increases the need for that coping tool. The shaming reinforces the feeling of being broken, which only deepens the dependency. It becomes this vicious cycle where the help is just another huge source of stress. And this really gets to the core of the whole dynamic. This isn't just an opinion, it's a known psychological pattern. When a loved one operates from a place of fear, their actions, the checking, the comments, the constant focus on the problem, they create an environment of anxiety. And here's the thing you have to understand. Dependency thrives in anxiety.
So, given this really complex dynamic, what can the person at the center of all this do? Well, the path forward isn't about willpower or fighting. It's about having a realistic, compassionate, and self-directed strategy for change. Let's break down what that actually looks like.
Okay, first you want to add before you subtract. Instead of just trying to rip the alcohol out of your life, the goal is to add new, healthier ways to regulate your nervous system. This could be anything: a consistent sleep ritual, listening to a monotonous podcast, journaling to get thoughts out of your head. Second, focus on the function, not the morality. The need for sleep is real, the need for stress relief is real. Your task is just to find better tools to meet those needs. And third, and this is so vital, set clear boundaries to protect your own energy and motivation for this really difficult work.
You know, setting a boundary doesn't have to be some big confrontation. It can be a calm, clear, and loving statement. A script just like this one is a powerful example. It validates the other person's concern. I know you're worried. While at the same time clearly stating a need. I need you to stop. You're reframing the request from stop controlling me to please just trust me. This is how you protect your own space for healing.
And that brings us to the other side of the equation. For anyone watching this who loves someone who's struggling with dependency, how can you offer help that actually helps? How can you become part of the solution instead of part of the cycle? Well, the path to truly helping is clear. What doesn't help is control, shame, and making the problem the entire focus of the relationship. That reduces a whole complex person to a single issue. What does help is creating an atmosphere of trust and calmness. It's offering support without conditions. It's having normal conversations about other things, work, hobbies, life, to remind them they are so much more than their struggle. It's all about respecting their pace and trusting their process.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this one single powerful idea. Lasting change doesn't happen in an environment of fear, judgment, and anxiety. It happens in an environment of security, where a person feels safe enough to be vulnerable, to try, and even to fail sometimes without being shamed. The greatest gift a loved one can possibly offer is a sense of security.
And finally, it is so crucial that we move beyond the diagnosis and the labels we use so often. It's time to see the whole person, not just the part that is struggling. This is maybe the most important reframing of all. You are not a label. You are a human being who has been through exhaustion, betrayal, and immense stress, and you found a tool that helped you survive. That's a testament to your resilience. And yeah, maybe that tool isn't serving you anymore, but that doesn't define who you are. The self-awareness and the desire for change you've expressed, that means you are now ready to find a better, more sustainable way to navigate life's challenges. And you absolutely will find it.
So I'll leave everyone with this final question to reflect on. Look at the people you care about, whether they're struggling or not. In your interactions, in your words, in your actions, are you an agent of security or an agent of fear? Because in that choice, right there, lies the power to truly help someone heal.